Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're playing with this palette. I have already done 2 looks with it. So I do have like a mini review at the end of it, or mini first impression, because I know people like to get all when I say review because it's only my first time using it. But I think if I've done 2 looks with it, it can be a review. Anyways, sorry to get so hostile in the beginning, but I did do 2 looks with it. One's going to be a little more colorful, and one is this like muted down look. I can say I really like this look. There was some problems with this particular shade, which is Martian Shore, which is Martian Soil. Oh my god, I suck. But this is what the palette looks like, brand new, untouched. As you can see, it's super pretty. I just can't get over the color scheme because it's super like unique, and I know not a lot of people love it, and we're kind of, I don't want to say intimidated, but they were kind of turned off by it. So I wanted to do 2 looks. Like I said, that's why this one is a little bit more muted down, a little bit more wearable. This is Karma from the collection. I did use Triggered as well in this video, so you know, if you want to see those 2 swatch, I will be doing a separate video for the lipsticks where I do all my comparisons. So if you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Welcome to my channel, by the way. I'm RLQ.Rosie. If you're new here, you can find all my social networks down below. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I know you guys have been asking for this video, and I hope I didn't disappoint. I mean, I'm going through a phase where I feel like I'm a little bit intimidated by everything that's like in front of me. Like, I feel like there's just so much amazing talent out there that I'm just kind of, you know? So this was my wearable look, especially because it is Thanksgiving today and I'm going to dinner, so I don't want to be like crazy, if you know what I mean, especially because I know Jesse's family takes photos. Anyways, I hope you like this video. I'm going to do my colorful look first. I'll put timestamps in the bottom if you want to see this look and not the colorful look, then, which is going to be in my thumbnail. So you've probably seen it in my thumbnail by now. But if you want to see the colorful look, then just keep on watching. If you want to see this getting ready with me look, then go ahead and skip forward to the timestamp that is down below. And then my mini review is at the end. So I'll put a timestamp for that as well. So I hope that all made sense. Timestamps for first getting ready with me, second get ready with me, and my mini first impression review. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Go ahead and keep watching. Okay, so the look I was doing was looking like everybody else's, so we're going to go into something different. We're going to go lay into Abduction first and set that down as my base shade right here. It's a lot brighter outside than I was expecting it to be, so it's throwing off my lighting a little bit. So now that that's down, I'm gonna go into Flying Saucer.
I told him, give me the biggest one you got. That's what he gave me.
So I think next I'm going to go into Ghost OG. This is like, it almost looks like a khaki green. Like a deep, deep military green. And that is what's going to shape my crease. It's a really pretty color, actually. I'm going to take more Flying Saucer and blend that out. So I am noticing these shades are kind of applying lighter, but they're super buildable. Take that as you will. I know some people like that and some people don't. Every time I add a new shade, I'm going back into the previous shade and adding on to it to kind of intensify it more. For the record, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but my base is the Dermablend pigment. This is in the shade 35W. Oh, I used the darker one. Crap. That's probably on my eyelid. So this is a little bit more tan, and it was wet. So when I laid down these shadows, it was a wet base. Next, I'm going to go into Black Hole, which is the black shade, and I'm going to do my outer V, whatever you call it, right here. That Ghost OG is my favorite color so far. Like, I'm loving how pretty that is. I'm going to carve my life away. So I'm going to go into Probe, which is like the super metallic. It was between this one and Moon Rock, and I think I'm going to go with Probe and hopefully not regret it. I'm only going to go like, because I will be doing a wing. This is a hella pigmented shade. Like way pigmented. Way more than I expected. Not like metallics never are, but... Okay, so that shit is so pigmented that it actually took a second to clean it off my face. I spilled little droplets all over. I am going to carve out a wing area. Whoa, that took nothing. Here's still hoping that I don't screw up this look. I mean, if you've made it this far and you actually approve of the look, we're going to go into Alien. We're going to lay that down. So far, I have not had to wet any of these metallics, so that has my seal of approval. Next, we're going to go into Area 51, which the look I first did, I was using it, and I noticed that I was going through the same transition and kind of layout that everybody else has done, almost like the Mitchell look, and I didn't want to do that. I thought, you know what, that's been done, and I think you guys might be tired of seeing that, so you're probably tired of seeing cut creases from me, but it's okay. This alien green is so freaking pretty, like I can't even. I feel like transitioning wings, like colors for new palettes, is the best way to get in the most shades into a look. If not, then of course, you know, you're limited. So doing a two-toned wing is like my go-to thing when I want to try as many shades as possible. Which is funny because I didn't do that for James Charles' palette, but I also was super safe with that look. Like I felt, I don't know. I even played with it last night and I just did not approve of like my look. And it was something that I felt like I've done before, but when I was looking at it, I was like, nope, I'm done. So we ended up watching Tokyo Ghoul for the rest of the night. While we're here, we're going to take a little bit of Pluto and we're going to highlight the inner corner and dab on the brow bone and fix that. So here's the look so far, and I don't hate it. Let me go ahead and do the other eye off camera, and then I will actually do my face off camera because this video is about the palette, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to take some black liner and kind of smoke out the bottom lash line. And then we're taking Area 51 so we can connect the liner to the bottom. And then we're going to take more of Alien and connect that inner corner. So it kind of mirrors the top liner. I'm just going to reapply Pluto because I did wipe it off when I put on my foundation. And of course, before we apply highlighter, I'm going to go into the Urban All Nighter setting spray. And then I'm going to apply the Supreme Frost. Money Honey. I feel like that'll look so pretty with this look. I'm going to take just a regular eyeshadow brush, which is, again, how I've been applying my highlighters. I think I went too low right there. Look how pretty that looks. For lips, it was in between Karma and Triggered, and Jessie voted for Triggered, so we're going to go into Triggered, which is from the holiday collection, of course. It's like a maroon, burnt, whatever. But look at that packaging. Like, holy crap. That's so pretty. It's like fire. This shade has a lot more purple in it than I thought, and I love it. I live for it. Like, also the highlight, I'm living for it. I'm going to pop on these lashes. These are Quixotic from Lash Exa. They're like my new favorite lash company, so try them out. Like I said, I have a link for them where I have a discount code with them. It's RLQ.Rosie, but I'm going to pop these on, change my look, and I'll be right back. And this is look number 1. So just a quick rundown. I used, let's count them. It's not focusing on the palette. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades. Okay, let's try this again. My phone started ringing. So I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades out of 20 shades, I think it is. And I'm going to do a second look, of course, but I just wanted to kind of go over the shades. So as far as this shade goes, which is Abduction, that's the one that I set here. And it does, on my skin tone, look a little, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not as green as this, but I did use a more tan base. So if I used a whiter base, then I'm sure it would work better. So of course, the more fair the base, the better to this shade it'll look. You want to start off with a neutral base. I didn't. I started off with a warm base. So that's why it looks a little bit more yellow. And then I did use this shade. This shade took a little bit of building, but it blended out really pretty. And then this one I use as a liner. Right here, it's not as purple, like this is bright purple. It's more of like a deep purple on my particular eyelid. Again, my base started was like more brown, neutral, tan type shade. And then this is all over the lid. This is a stunning freaking shade. The other shade that I really loved is this one here, which was Ghost OG. I think that shade is so freaking pretty. Like, I think that shade is the underrated one in the palette. Like, just when it laid down, it's really pretty. It's the one I used in my transition right here. And I loved the way it looked. Like, I had just the tiniest hint of green. And I want to play with that one a lot more. The black is right here, which you can't tell anymore because of the liner. But it's kind of used to smoke it out a little bit more. And then I used Alien on the lid, which I didn't realize my lashes were going to cover up, but that is what's on the eye, kind of to tie this together. I do really like this look, and I was like super happy with it. At first I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And then when I did my first look, I mentioned during the video, I didn't like the way it was coming out because I felt like it was super cliche with this palette and this scheme. So I wanted to go a little bit more extraterrestrial, if you will. So if you don't like this look, then hopefully you like my second look. This is, of course, a little bit more crazy. I know the people that are picking up this palette are going to be a little bit more bold, so this might be a little bit more up your alley. Oh, I also used that shade Pluto on the brow bone, which was so pretty. And the inner corner, I covered it up a little bit. It's got like a gold shift to it, which I don't think picks up very much on camera. But up close, this is the look. I hope you like it. If you don't, let's go to look number 2. Let me get some pictures and we'll move on to the second look. So go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, on to look number 2. Let's open this back up. And since we're going with a simple look, we're going to go into Gravity, which is this like khaki neutral base transition shade. There's fizzies in my palette. We're just going to buff that in. Ooh, that's a lot browner than I thought. Which is a good thing. It means it's pigmented. It means she's pigmented. Next, we're going to go into Martian Soul. And I'm worried because this was a lot more brown than I thought, that this might not be the right thing to do. But I'm just going to lay that down like that. That is such a pretty friggin' shade. We're gonna buff that out. I kind of wish I had laid this one down first now. Damn it. It's okay. As per usual on my channel, we're gonna bend the rules a little bit. We're gonna go into Space Cowboy, and I feel like this might be too big of a brush, but F it, and use this as a transition shade to deepen up the crease. And since this is more of a fluffy brush, it's not going on like heavy metallic. Typically, you want to apply the metallic shades with a flat shader, or like even a concealer brush. But using like a blending brush to apply metallic makes it a little bit better for like buffing it in. I'm team metallics in the crease. I know the makeup world gets shooketh by the thought of that, but it's okay. I am not a makeup artist, so I can do whatever I want, you know? Okay, stop. That's so freaking pretty. I love the way it's blending with that like mustard shade. Ugh. I do not want to use a liner for this look, so I am going to go back into Black Hole. I'm going to use the same brush I used in my last look. No shame in that. I actually, you know, like this is all one video, so I want to deepen that and go down a little bit to smoke it out. And then we're going to take a little bit of my pigment and use it as a concealer to clean this lid up. Just a little bit because I really love the way Space Cowboy sat on that lid. I'm actually just going to leave that kind of muddy because I'm going to go into Interstellar. Interstellar actually has some gray undertones to it. This is like a really pretty color. It's a really soft one actually. And I really should not have applied this like this. I should turn the brush upside down. Gosh dang it. I really want Space Cowboy to be the transition shade here, so I am going to blend that there into Black Hole, since that's the shade in my crease. Since I'm not going to use Money Honey on the cheeks again, I'm going to use this in the inner corner because I want that extra whoosh, whoosh, whatever you want to call it for this look. This is my Thanksgiving Day look, so hopefully like it's still not too much. Perfect. Like just a little subtle highlight. I'm going to go into Martian Soil and I'm going to buff the under lash line and kind of out so I can kind of ring around my eyes. And I'm going to take Space Cowboy and go super close to the waterline. I changed my mind. I'm going to add just a dab of Karma, which is one of the liquid lipsticks, to the upper lash line. Just a dab there. And I'm going to start on this end. I'm going to make sure it blends into Space Cowboy. So that is this eye. I'm going to finish the other eye off camera. I feel like this right here I don't like. Looks pretty up here and I did kind of go over it again. But this right here is actually looking a little muddy. So I might redo it off camera, but I'll let you guys know if I do. Be right back. I ended up wiping out the bottom lash, putting on some black liner, and then just using Moonstone. Space Cowboy, which is that one, under my lashes, so it kind of tied it with the crease and like the blending out of it. So I'm a lot happier with it. I'm gonna throw on some lips. I'm gonna go into Hi, How Are Ya for this particular look, just because it's very festive, and of course it's a gorgeous shade. It's a lot more pink than I thought. So I don't like the way Hi, How Are Ya looks with this look, so we're gonna throw on Karma. For lashes, I'm going to pop on the Center of Attentions from Tarte Cosmetics, and I will be right back. And this is look number 2. So as far as this look goes, I do really like it. It's super neutral and super wearable. The only thing I can say is the Martian Soil is a gorgeous, gorgeous shade. And maybe it's because of the base I use, but I feel like it muddied on the bottom waterline, and it could have just been how I applied it, which would not surprise me because my technique sucks sometimes. But as far as like up here, it's so pretty, and I did layer it over another shade, so I'm worried that might have been the problem. But on this one, it clung to just this little area, which is, you know, typical as far as looks go, you guys know that's my problematic eye. And if you guys didn't already know that, then now you do, especially if you're new to my channel. Welcome, I'm RLQ.Rosie. But I definitely wanted to show two different sides of the spectrum. I wanted to show like more colorful, and I wanted to show something a little bit more muted down. The lip, of course, is a little bit more bold, but it wears so well with this look. In fact, it wears so well with the palette. Like this one took some layering. So I will be doing a separate video for the lipsticks and swatches because I don't have time, unfortunately, to kind of gather all my usual ones and swatching them side by side. And it's kind of my favorite part about the video is comparing them to the older shades. So that will be coming. Stick around. Maybe it'll come tomorrow or something, and you'll probably see a new look with it. So stay tuned. I hope you liked both of the looks, and even if you didn't like both of the looks, I hope you liked one of the looks. And yeah, that's about it. As far as the palette goes, for this particular look, I use Martian Soil, which laid down so pretty, blended out so pretty. It did muddy for me a little bit, like I said, on the waterline, which I ended up removing. Space Cowboy is stunning. Like, it is such a pretty shade. I actually want to use it as like a smoky eye, but blended out, it's so pretty. And like I mentioned during the getting ready with me portion, is when you use a fluffy brush to apply metallics, it tends to diffuse it, and it's not as like harsh, and people aren't as annoying about shimmers in the crease. And then I also used Interstellar, which is so freaking pretty. That's the one right on my lid. Like, the shift in it is insane. It's so pretty. I did use Black Hole again for this look, and I started off with Gravity, but I didn't like keep it. That's why I went with Martian Soil. So that's why it could have been a little bit of an issue when I tied these together. Like, that was my bad. And I'm excited to play with more shades in the palette. Like, there's just so many shades in this palette. But total for this video, I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I used 12 out of the 20 shades in this palette, and I think that's pretty good. There's 8 that I still haven't played with. As far as swatches goes, I'm not going to swatch it. I know you guys probably wanted to see me swatch it, but I feel like there's no point in swatching it because at this point, I'm kind of overdoing swatches in my videos, and I can, you know, link down channels below that did swatch it. I feel like the most important part of the palette is going to be on the eyes. And I mean, Jeffree's formula is pretty insane. So if you did want me to swatch one, like if I swatch X-Files, this pains me because it's such a pretty shade. And I just go like that. That's pigmented. Like, you guys didn't need to see me do that. So I think that the shades itself are pretty pigmented, so I don't have to go in there and kind of show you guys that. I will say that the UFO is so pretty, and I want to use that on my next looks. And then, like, all the metallics just speak to my soul. Interstellar was probably the most powdery as far as application goes, so when I dipped into it, I used my Harry Potter wand, and it kind of broke it down a little bit, as you guys can see. I feel like the less you see the emblem, the more you can tell that it took to build up that shade. Not necessarily build up that shade, but it actually, like, took more than the other shades. Like, the ones that maintain their shape are the ones that I only have to dab into. But like with the metallics, of course, because I love to be intense with them, and I didn't spray them. So all the metallics you are seeing in this look and in the previous look, I did not wet the brushes for any of them. So that was a plus, a positive. So I'm really glad, like, the metallics stay consistent. But of course, like I mentioned in most of my videos, most metallics are going to be like that. Like, you're not going to run into those problems with metallics like you would with the matte shades. And I know there are some pigments in this, so technically this is a pressed pigment palette, which is Area 51. That's going to be a pigment versus like the eyeshadows. And of course, this is vegan, cruelty free. The box shape is a little crazy, a little bit out there, but if you're like me, sometimes with these ones that have weird shapes, I keep the box too. This is the unicarton here, so I'm going to keep this box and just store it in it. And that's what I do with a lot of my Tarte palettes, because Tarte for some reason is forever doing round palettes, and I do like Tarte's palettes, so I keep the boxes. So anything that's round or odd shaped, I tend to keep the boxes too, so that I can just put them in with my other palettes and it looks normal. But I know not a lot of people like to do that, and they feel it's wasted space, but at the same time, you're wasting the exact same space because it's shaped to that palette. But I can definitely tell how you guys would not like the shape of it. This here is my original Beauty Killer palette, so if I laid this in front of it, they're almost the same size as far as length goes. Like, there's just a lip longer. And then when you open the palette, because there's more pans, they're a little bit smaller. These are the same size as the Blood Sugar and the Thirsty. So the more shadows you get, of course, the smaller the pans. I still obsess over this palette. Like, this is going to be one of my favorites until I die. That's why I have 2 of them. But this is going to be a pretty palette. And as usual with the new palette, once I get it, I'd like to play with it, you know, right before work. Like, if it's one that I can use on the go, because I don't wear a lot of makeup to work, and I mentioned this several times before. If it's something that I can quickly put a look together without going too over the top for work, then I know it's going to be a good palette. So far, I have no complaints. But of course, you guys know I love the Jeffree Star formula. Call me biased, but I don't hate it. This shade is going to be one of my favorite shades. And this one was a lot more brown, as you guys saw when I laid it down. It was so pigmented, like almost too pigmented for a transition shade, which is really funny, actually, while I have you guys here. I hope this video is not like 10 years long. Let me swatch Courtney. Okay, so the middle one is Grab a Tea and the top one is Courtney from the Beauty Killer palette. As you can see, Courtney has a little bit of mixed shades in it, but they're really pretty and they're pretty similar, but I feel like Courtney has more peach to it, even without me accidentally adding purple to it. So that is the difference in those shades. And I know most people love Courtney, so that's going to be a good shade for you. The palette sells for, I think, $54. I got mine off Beautylish. Normally, I do get PR, and in fact, I have received a shipping notification from Killer Merch, so I'm assuming that's my PR package, which means if it does come, then I will be having a palette giveaway. So keep an eye out for that one. And I also ordered the lipsticks, like I said, with my money. And if I receive those as PR, then more than likely what I'll do is I'll do a giveaway for some of the shades, not all of the shades, because if I bought 2 of them, I may as well gift them to my friends and family. So of course they're gonna go first, and then any shades that I have left, I will, you know, contribute to the giveaway. So that was it. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And of course, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. All my social networks are linked down below. If you don't like this video, please just walk away, pretend it did not happen. But as far as everything else, I have a video coming up on Wednesday, so I will see you in the next video. Bye.